Today we're going to learn how to do a simple dot mandala. A mandala is a circular pattern, and we're going to make one with simple dot painting. This is something that you can do without a lot of expense. Inexpensive craft paints, and the tools can be things you have around the house, and the surfaces can be anything from a piece of cardboard to a rock. Rock painting is very popular right now. Some of the things you can use that you have around the house are a pencil, the flat end of the eraser, a Q-tip swab, does a very good job, the end of a regular pencil, the pointed end of a pencil. Here's the end of a spongy brush. And you can also use the end of a paintbrush. You can also get, if you want to go out and buy tools, these are little sponges on the end of a stick. I tend to have more luck with the other end of the stick, the little dowel part. For today's project, we're going to use these little styluses that I found. These are very popular. You can find them at the craft stores, and they're very cheap. People use them for clay, Sculpey, modeling clay, a lot of different things. They have little round balls on the end that can make different sizes of dots. So we're going to do on this rock a simple version of this. I painted my rock black, and I took a pencil and put a dot in the middle where I think the center is. Okay, so now trying to mimic this, I'm going to take a somewhat small, I'm looking for sizes, and what I would recommend all of you do first is get a scrap piece and play so that you can feel how much paint you need. That's always recommended. Play with it. It lets you get the feel of what tools work best. So my first color is going to be purple. So I'm going to dip into the purple, get a lot of paint on it, kind of swirl it around, and then I'm going to come straight down onto where I found my center. And that's my beginning dot. Then I'm going to look and see what's next. Clean my tip. I now have some little white dots. So I'm going for a smaller stylus. So I'm going to take my white dots, and I'm going to try and evenly place them around the bigger dot. I don't want as much paint. So I'm going to put one here and one here. And then I'm going to put one here and one here. Now see how that's evenly placed around it? Then I'm going to fill in one here, one here, one there, and one there. The more paint, the bigger the dot. You can already see that. The less paint, you get a smaller dot. Okay? So dump that in there. We're going back to purple. So now that we've got that first line of dots, I'm going to try and fill in between each of those white dots with a purple dot. That's a little big, so I want a little bit smaller. We'll go with this one. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Need a little more paint. If you need a little more paint, dip it in and you can go over it again. You'll find the more paint you have, the larger the dots. The less paint, you can still get a nice dot, And don't worry if you don't get it exactly where you wanted it. It still looks okay. Okay, so now we have our purple dots. Not quite as neat as the one I did the night before, but it'll still look nice when we get it done. Okay, now I need, according to this, some little teeny tiny white dots. So I've got a very teeny tiny stylus, and I'm going to go dipping it in the white and going 1, 1, 1, right there, just going around in between each of the purple dots. Okay, putting that over in the water so the brush will clean. And we're ready to go on from purple to kind of a royal blue dot. So I've got my royal blue paint, and I'm looking to see what size the dot is. So it's about the same size as the purple ones, maybe a little bigger. So I go back in, try and find the size I need. Get some blue on there, and right above all of the little white dots, I'm putting a blue dot. I think I need a little more paint. Blue, 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 good size blue dot. And all you're doing is poking straight down. Sometimes you can poke more than once, but it's really simple. You just straight down. And our last one. So far, this is what we have. It's kind of looking like this. It takes some practice, and you know, it just sit down and play with it. Okay, so we're done with the blue. So I'm ready for a nice size teal dot. Okay, so I'm looking at the size of my stylus, and I'm using a much bigger one because I'm going to put teal in between each of the blue. Teal, turquoise, whatever you call it. See, it's a nice big dot. In between, well, need more paint. Sometimes your paint gets a little gloopy, but that dries. See, I'm needing more paint on that. There we go. Oops. That's going to be a little bit large, but we'll live with it, won't we? Like Bob Ross used to say, it's a happy little dot. There we go. There we go. There we go. And a little more paint. And there's the teal. Okay, last color. And that's going to be where our rock is just not quite as big as the piece of cardboard I have. So I think we're going to end it with the green. So I've gone around with the teal. Now I need one of my really larger styluses, and also got paint all over the place, but a little paint, you can put down a piece of paper. And this is really good for all of those Amazon boxes that you've got laying around. Cut them up, use that cardboard. You can do these all over the place. Okay, so we're going for the green. I'm getting a lot of paint on there, and I'm going to put a big green dot right in between all of the teal ones. Going around, you're just dotting. This is a good project you can do with the kids. You get some really cute, really interesting things. And kids love to hide rocks. They also love to find them. Okay, so done with that. And there is my finished product. Now it may not look exactly like this one, but it's a close approximation. And if I had a little more time and patience, maybe I'd be able to get it a little bit go a little slower and it'd be a little neater. Here are a couple of examples of some different things I've done. There are all sorts of designs you can find. Here's my little rock. And if you go out on the internet, there are all sorts of patterns. Type in dot mandala and you will find all sorts of different ideas for things you can do with dot mandalas. Thanks for joining me today.